Hi, this is Matthew again. Today, I wanted to discuss how our current political actors are using misinformation to impact our elections. In the world of politics, misinformation and lies are sadly not uncommon. However, recent years have seen a disturbing trend of deliberate falsehoods being spread by the camps of prominent politicians, particularly those opposed to former President Donald Trump. The Harris, Biden, and Obama camps have been particularly vocal in spreading misinformation and outright lies about Trump, with the aim of tarnishing his reputation and undermining his presidency and candidacy for presidency. This investigative video aims to expose the misinformation and lies spread by the Harris, Biden, and Obama camps about Donald Trump. By analyzing concrete evidence and examples from reputable sources, we will shed light on the impact of these falsehoods on public perception and offer an objective assessment of the motivations behind them. What are some of the misinformation and lies spread by the Harris camp? Kamala Harris, the former Vice President of the United States, has been a vocal critic of Donald Trump. During the 2020 presidential campaign, Harris made a number of false claims about Trump's policies and actions. One of the most egregious lies spread by the Harris camp was the claim that Trump had called neo-Nazis very fine people after the violent events in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. In reality, Trump's actual words were taken out of context, as he had explicitly condemned the actions of white supremacists and neo-Nazis in Charlottesville. Despite this, Harris continued to spread this falsehood in an attempt to paint Trump as sympathetic to hate groups. This deliberate misinformation had a significant impact on public perception of Trump, with many believing the false narrative spread by the Harris camp. Another example of misinformation spread by the Harris camp was the claim that Trump had mishandled the COVID-19 pandemic. While it is true that the Trump administration faced criticism for its response to the pandemic, Harris and her supporters exaggerated the extent of the failures and spread false information about Trump's actions. For example, Harris falsely claimed that Trump had downplayed the severity of the virus and refused to take action to protect the American people. In reality, Trump had taken a number of steps to combat the spread of COVID-19, including implementing travel restrictions, mobilizing resources to produce ventilators and personal protective equipment, and launching Operation Warp Speed to develop a vaccine in record time. Despite these efforts, the Harris camp continued to spread falsehoods about Trump's handling of the pandemic, leading to widespread misinformation among the public. What are some of the misinformation and lies spread by the Biden camp? Joe Biden, the current president of the United States, has also been a vocal critic of Donald Trump. During the 2020 presidential campaign, Biden and his supporters spread a number of falsehoods about Trump in an attempt to discredit his presidency and win the election. One of the most damaging lies spread by the Biden camp was the claim that Trump had colluded with Russia to win the 2016 election. This baseless conspiracy theory, known as the Russia collusion hoax, was debunked by the Mueller investigation, which found no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Despite this, Biden and his supporters continued to spread this falsehood in an effort to undermine Trump's legitimacy as president. The impact of this misinformation was profound, with many Americans believing that Trump's presidency was illegitimate due to the false claims spread by the Biden camp. Another example of misinformation spread by the Biden camp was the claim that Trump had incited the violence at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Biden and his supporters falsely accused Trump of encouraging his supporters to storm the Capitol in an attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 election. In reality, Trump had called for peaceful protest and condemned the violence that ensued. Despite this, the Biden camp seized on the events of January 6 to further their narrative that Trump was a dangerous and divisive figure. By spreading falsehoods about Trump's involvement in the Capitol riot, Biden and his supporters sought to delegitimize Trump's presidency and tarnish his reputation. This deliberate misinformation had a damaging impact on public perception of Trump,